Hello and welcome to another amazing episode of Experts Eating Cake. I'm your host, Michelle Thomas, and today I have got the bravest person that I know on this show with us today. I met her a couple of years ago at an event. She was stood in the corner. We had a little chat. And that day, I think it was all she could do to keep her head on straight and not run out of the room. But since then, she has gone on to slay dragons. And not so long ago, she was on the stage in front of 400 people. This is what I mean by brave, talking about pink elephants. This woman, not only does she talk the talk, she absolutely, definitely walks the walk. It's Nicola Parker. Hello, gorgeous.
Right? I'm like, bloody hell. I should have known that.
You're the bravest person that I know. If somebody ever asked me to think of a brave person, you're the first person that would come to mind.
I'm going to tell my teenagers that because they all think I'm a wimp. Like, in my, like if anything buzzes, I'm like, oh my God.
No, they don't understand what bravery means. I think that's the thing, though, isn't it?
Yeah, we think of it as different. I suppose that's a very each to their own. What one person might see as brave, another person might be like, that's not brave to me. But yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Anyway, so you've been slaying these dragons, you've been bringing out pink elephants and doing all that kind of stuff. And today you're going to be doing something much easier. You're going to be eating cake with me. Did you bring a cake?
I have. I've already opened it because it's a cupcake. It still counts, don't it?
Oh, it's got a little rainbow on it. That's so cute. Go on, have a bite.
I've already opened it. This is going to be the messiest bite ever, but I don't care.
Go on.
Does anyone else sniff the cake before they eat it?
Sometimes.
Do you know what I love? Look at me, I'm doing it. I'm exposing myself. I love sniffing the bottom of a cake before
the bottom of a cake?
Yeah, you know. Do you do it with bread?
Oh.
I do it with cake and bread, where I sniff the icing and then sniff the bottom, and then I can eat it.
Go on, eat it.
That's not as messy as I thought. Oh, it's got jam in it.
Oh, I love a bit of jam in a cake.
I didn't expect that.
And wasn't that the most expensive cupcake that you could possibly imagine?
It bloody well is as well. It was like just sort of a $5 for 4 cupcakes. That's a bit
at a supermarket.
Andre's to be coming out with these cupcakes.
Oh yeah. What you wouldn't pay for that, eh? What you wouldn't pay. Peter Andre's biggest fan.
He is behind me, but he's all folded away.
Oh, don't even. Right, I'm going to eat my cake. Cheers. I have got cherry bakewell, and I've had this on the show before because it's a staple in my local shop, and sometimes I don't get the chance to actually go and buy a cake, and if I do, it's usually out of date by the time I eat it, so cheers. I really like this cake.
I understand why these are a bit expensive. That is actually quite nice.
There's nothing worse than paying loads of money for something, eating it, and then not being able to eat it because it's rank.
That's really nice.
Well, mine's really nice too. I like that. Oh.
I do want
one of my favourites.
Partly on YouTube.
What's that?
No, people can comment on YouTube, can't they? I want to know if anyone else sniffs the bottom of their cakes or if that's just a me thing. Of
course, if you're watching this and you sniff the cake, Nicola wants to know. Drop it in the comments below. Brilliant. Right, I've been really excited about you coming on this show because I know your area of expertise is actually helping people with mental illness recovery.
Yeah.
But there's something else that you talk about a lot, and something else that you teach is actually quite close to, well, not quite close, very close to my heart. And that's building mental fitness. I like to think of it as mental fitness because in the same way that you would build your physical fitness and train it and work on it every single day to make it stronger and to build that kind of resilience through resistance, you can actually completely change the way that you feel about things, completely change your life, and actually move forward in a very honest and true way. And that is one of the major takeaways that I get from the messages that you give us. Can you tell us a little bit more about where all that came from?
Yeah, so I do call myself, it's a right tongue twister, but a mental fitness mentor from Manchester. Just all the So it basically came from exactly what you're saying, where I am a qualified counsellor and things like that. But I learned more when I went through my own personal mental health breakdown. I learned more in the 5 to 6 years of that than I ever did when I'd qualified as a counsellor, which was before my actual breakdown. And I just noticed it was a very natural thing. I always say I've turned my pains into my passions because I'm a big believer in that healed people heal people. So I never had this intention way back when to have a business doing what I was doing. Why? What am I doing now? Doing what I am doing. What are we up to, Nick? Where have we gone? So it was never an intention. I know some people would say like it was organically done or whatever. So it was very much that, and the way it was done, like you said, where it's like the fitness element is seeing that so often when we're at crisis point, rightly so, we need crisis, immediate, emergency intervention to literally keep us alive, which is where I was at that point. Bloody hell, mate, I'm all in the past.
That's all right. You don't need to explain yourself. I'm sure everybody knows.
Yeah,
just
keep up with me.
Know the story.
We words get mixed up, but we're here. This is the present day. So yeah, I basically was coming out of crisis point, and in quite a dark way in terms of, yes, I was trying to end my life, weren't really getting the epiphanies that other people maybe publicize about, like, oh, do it for your kids, do it for this, do it for that. And it was like, well, no, I want to end my life so that my kids can not have the mum that they've got in me. This is that and the other. And I used to find so many reasons every day why to end my life. Like, you just need to go now because you're doing this or because you're creating this or whatever. And then it got to the point where I was 30 seconds from the ambulance crew saying if we would have been 30 seconds later, she would not be here. They managed to get me off or whatever, do things that was going to stop me doing what I'd been doing. And I remember being so annoyed at them, thinking, going out with someone who's dialed over nines, like, get out of my house, what are you doing? And for me, that was kind of my turning moment of thinking, if I'm that thick, I can't even kill myself, because that was like my third attempt. And it was like, if I'm that thick, I can't even kill myself, I might as well try and figure a way to just deal with this then. So one of the first things I started to do was to ask myself, why not? But instead of saying, this is why I should do it, I completely flipped that and said, forcing myself every day to find 3 reasons why not to take my own life that day. And one day, I should have had the diary out ready. It'd be great. It's just under there, though. I'm not going to bother. One day I'd wrote, what if I can help other people who are feeling like I am? And so that's how I've become to do what I've done. But very much so. Burping now after that cake. It's repeating on me. Very much so. Like yourself, I think, yes, there's a need for crisis point, and there is. I'm not doubting that at all. But so often you can then be left and think, oh, well, I'm at a crisis point, crack on I go. But it's like, no, the same way with physical fitness. If you want to build a bigger bum or shrink your bum or do whatever the in physical thing is at the minute, let's just stick with the bum. So if you go and think, right, I want a great big ass, because that's what, like, I think
right, I'm really listening now because I have got a pancake bum. It's like a deflated balloon. So tell me, how are you going to do it?
Imagine if you're like, I'm not going to say how to do it in such a squats, whatever, glute exercise, all the rest of it. But it's also, building your glute is great for building your core anyway. So I do love doing glute exercise. But anyway, let me not get distracted in my PT stuff. But if you've now done it and you've got the big bum and you've gone from, what did you call your bum? Flat cake? Pancake.
Yeah.
What the fuck's a flat cake? New cake there. Someone go make that. So if you've gone from the pancake bum to the big peachy bum or whatever, and you're like, okay, I've done it. If you then stopped doing whatever it is you'd been doing to get that peachy bum, what's going to happen? It's eventually going to start deflating, and you're going to end
exactly what it looks like. It looks like a deflated balloon.
Yeah. So that's the same for our mental fitness as well. If we don't continually work on it, continually check in with ourselves with it, and do things daily, weekly, yearly, monthly, that is keeping on top of or improving our mental fitness, then you are running the risk that you may go back to crisis point, or you may go back to a deeper, a darker time that you've had. So for me, I'm nowhere near the way I was 8 or 9 years ago when I was attempting to take my own life. But if I do not do the continual daily, weekly stuff, it's now not as intense as, writing why not every day and finding 3 reasons. But I'm still doing things daily to help me to work on my mental fitness. So that's, I hope I answered your question somewhere.
Absolutely did. Absolutely did. I like the fact that you can liken it to having a bigger bum, because I am going to go away and I'm going to figure out how to get. But then again, it's one of those things, you figure it out, you go and do it, and then you can't be bothered, and then you just leave it and you think, I'm fine with my pancake.
Yeah, I think that's it. As a personal trainer as well as, so that is another reason why I bring the fitness element into it, because I'm a big believer in that exercise is the most underutilized antidepressant there is, and moving for our moods is crucial. But I'm also massive on, to me, to get motivated to do anything, be it exercise, if we're doing anything from a place of we don't like something. So if you're saying, I don't like my bum, so I'm going to get a bigger bum, your brain is built to protect you and keep you safe. So if you're saying, I'm only going to put myself through this because I don't like my bum, your brain's going to go, I can't keep having you going, like thinking them things and going there, because that ain't going to keep you happy, that ain't going to keep you safe. So let's just leave it. And so sometimes, but then you argue with yourself that you've not gone, and then you're annoyed at you. So it then becomes a vicious circle. But if you're flipping that and going, do you know what? My ass is great as it is. I'm not doing this because I've got a pancake ass. I'm doing this because, do you know what? Working on my bum is going to help me to get a better relationship with my bum. And the side effect of that might be actually your bum then gets into a better looking shape that you feel is more aligned to you. But to me, I can't leave talking about cake and ass.
Just a normal day, really, isn't it?
Normal day, isn't it? This is what you get on a weekend with those cake and ass. And we're going to rename it Experts Eating Cake and Shitting It Out.
Don't even go down that road with me. I could talk about toilet troubles forever in a day. We are not going to talk about that today. We're not going to do that. You actually done something that I aspire towards, which is getting up on the stage and putting yourself out there. I know it was I wouldn't say horrific. It was an experience for you. I know it was an experience for you. But you did it. And for that, I will give you props all the way to the moon. And it is one of those things that I myself aspire to. And you spoke about your area of expertise. There was the whole thing about the pink elephant. It was great. It was so much fun. I absolutely loved it. I loved your outfit. I loved everything about it. How was it?
It was everything. And it was a lot. Like, for me, it had been a year working up to it. When I'd kind of said, right, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be on a stage and I'm going to not talk some shit, but I'm going to talk on a stage. What the bloody hell? And for me, it was never with the intention that Nicola Parker, wanted to be on the stage. It was, I wanted to be on the stage representing my butterflies. So the people I support, I call my butterflies, because I think it just takes away the clinical feeling of being with a therapist. So for me, it was to show it was that cliche thing of, if I can do it, and you know me, I'm just a normal batshit crazy person who's trying her best to stay mentally fit. And I've been able to get on a stage and speak about that. So for me, it wasn't about me or for me. It was about showing that, I'm normal, I'm northern, I'm common as muck, and you can still get on a stage and talk about something. And I know it is becoming more talked about. I do get that, but it still isn't. The nitty-gritty of mental illness isn't talked about. There's still stigma to it. I mean, it's only been fairly recently, the last couple of months ago, that there was talking about the potential of changing the fit notes, weren't they, a couple of months ago, and changing if you are having a fit note for work for mental illnesses, and discussing whether that is going to be allowed or in what circumstances. And it's like, there's still that stigma of, but if we all knew the day-to-day challenges of that, if we all saw what it looks like and we all spoke about it more, rather than, I feel like at the minute we speak about, mental illnesses, and there's the mental health day that was like last month in May and things like that, but nobody speaks about the different sort of mental illnesses, like what are personality disorders then, what is depression, what is anxiety, what is this, what is that. So for me to go on that stage was to talk about the pink elephants, which I was explaining are the day-to-day symptoms of our mental illnesses that we ignore. and you'll have heard me use my very unique ways of describing that situation, being it's a bit like when you're in a lift and someone farts and nobody says anything. You might look at your mate being like, is that you? Don't smell like you, is it? No. So you might give each other that look if you know someone in the lift, but you all know it's happened. Nobody says anything. You wait to get out of that lift and you're all breathing like, who the bloody hell was that? So your mental illness is like the fart in the room that nobody talks about. It's the day-to-day symptoms that even us as people, who it's happening to, are just acting like it's not there. And it's just that elephant that's in the way that nobody talks about. And so that's what I refer to as your pink elephants. And I think to talk about it in that way, it was such a, like, I was absolutely shitting myself. If you've seen it, and I've shared it on my reels on my Instagram back in March, and I work a lot with someone called Jojo Smith and Ali Knight and this, that, and they was all there supporting me. And Jojo likes me, so I'd add the Jojo stint to it. But I was lovingly pushed onto that stage. There was a push. It was...
Get on there, you're going on, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. So it was a lot. It was a lot. It was a massive build up. I felt a lot of pressure that I'd put on myself and to be representing crazy as best as I could while getting somewhat coherent out. So it was a lot, but it's been, for me personally, it's been... just untuck myself while I'm here. For me personally, it's been a lot of lessons and learning and a lot of confidence boosting. Think, oh my God, you can do that. And do you know what I mean? It was a lot personally, but for me, in terms of the business and helping get that message across, because my ultimate goal in having this business is to have an MBE for my services to mental health, so that it's known as a name everyday thing. And I don't even know, and people might not know, but an OBE is like a personal thing, like, oh, that person is amazing at whatever, whereas an MBE is about that person's contribution to something and a difference they've made to something. So again, it's not about me, it's about me and other people helping me to create Stronger Than Your Mind as a known thing, to create mental fitness as an everyday thing of saying, even if you're someone who doesn't necessarily have a mental illness, working on your mental fitness is crucial. The same way some people, rightly so, exercise to help prevent heart disease or, you know, all the physical illnesses that exercise helps prevent, but nobody talks about the things we can do to prevent mental illnesses yet, especially in men. Suicide is the number one killer in young men. I have something called borderline personality disorder. Some people know it as emotionally unstable personality disorder, and 10% of people with it lose their life to suicide.
Yeah.
So if that was a physical illness, there'd be campaigns on how to prevent it. Yet we don't really talk about, well, how can you prevent potentially having a mental illness?
That is all about to change, I'm guessing. So you're going to be getting up on stage again in the not too distant future?
Yes. It'll be towards the end of this month. So on the 30th of June, I will be at Youth Fest in Cheshire. And even as a northern person, I couldn't say that. I thought it was two separate places. I thought there was Cheshire and Cheshire. Apparently one place is one and the same.
Just like, completely different ways.
Just depends how you say it. I said Cheshire. Some people say Cheshire. So yeah, it's in Cheshire on the 30th of June, and it's a mental health and wellbeing event. And 10% of the ticket sales go to, I forgot the fecking charity. It's the B something, but there's that many B's I get mixed up. It's going to a charity it's a mental health charity basically.
That's good. That's good. Well, you did wow me I've got to admit, you did wow me on stage. And I watched it back again because I was part of the flight squad and I was buzzing around like a bee. So I got to see it, but not in its entirety. And I did watch it later on. And I was absolutely wowed, but you're going to wow me some more today. You're going to tell everybody that's watching, you're going to start giving them the basic tips that they need to know to help with their mental fitness. So you're going to show us your expertise. Ready, steady, go.
I now just feel like doing something whack like, It's like, go. So my basic tips is I have a 5-stage framework, so I'll kind of loosely talk you through that. So it's accepting your mind, because so often we're just in the moment and we're not looking at things like, well, okay, but like let's go back to your ass, for example.
I need cake for this. Hold on one second. What?
It's like where we were saying, where you deem you've got a pancake bum and you don't like that pancake bum, but actually it's about going, okay, I've got a pancake bum. Let me just say, do you know what? I've got a pancake bum, okay? Because sometimes with our mind and our mental health / our mental illnesses, we're too busy trying to act like we've not got that, or we're not acting this way. And it's like, okay, let me just say, this is how I'm feeling. So it's a massive, massive topic. But once you've accepted yourself, that allows you to start understanding your mind. Because so often we just go around observing ourselves and we don't stop to think, hang on, I've accepted I feel this way, but why do these thumbs put my hands in a different way, but why do I feel this way, and where's that coming from? And which that can be really, really tricky and difficult if you've had traumas in your past. And I've got a background in extreme trauma, and by that I don't mean I've got the qualifications in trauma, which I do have that as well as, but I'm not talking academically, I'm talking a personal lived experience. So it can feel really difficult and you don't want to go and open that can of worms. But I'm sorry, I always say I sting like a bee so you can fly like a butterfly. I give bullshit honesty in that if you never actually open that can of worms, then that can of worms is always sat there ready for somebody else to open when they decide to open it. So understanding your mind is crucial to you then being able to take control of it, because once you've understood your mind, then you can start resetting your mind. Then you can start looking at, okay, now I accept why I do this. I understand why I do this. So what is it I actually want to do about it? And it's a bit like dating yourself. So it's like when you're in the pre-acceptance and understanding stage, it's like you're on a date with someone. We all know when we go on a date, I haven't been on a date in bloody years.
Me neither.
But back in the day when I was a kid and I'd go on a date and you'd do something like, for me, for example, it might be that I'd put lashes on or put a load of slap on, aka makeup. I'd probably clench if I needed to fart, and I'd be like, I can't fart in this lift, gotta hold it in.
A lot of farting going on today.
I've gone in the gutter. But then you go home for the day, maybe you get in your car and your lashes come off and you're rubbing your face now and you're letting yourself fart and you're letting yourself go. So it's realizing when you're resetting your mind, it's looking at, actually, let me stop being in date mode and let me get to know who I really am, what is really going on for me, and what things would I like to do, and what are my automatic responses like? What are my boundaries like? Resetting your mind is about looking at your boundaries. And I don't just mean your boundaries with other people, but I mean the boundaries that you have with yourself.
Yeah.
So often we talk about boundaries with other people, and yes, that is something that you need to look at, but the first person you need to sort your boundaries out with is you. And once you've done that and reset your mind, that allows you to go on to the 4th stage, which is conditioning your mind. So this is things like where exercise might come in for some people, where then, or I know, especially having BPD, which means I'm way more reactive and feel emotions way more intensely than the next person. So for me, I need to try and stabilize my chemicals in my body, stabilize that cortisol and all that, which you can do via exercise. So conditioning my mind looks like exercise, looks like journaling, looks like meditating in whatever way that works for you. And then that all allows you to move on to the 5th stage, which is stronger than your mind, which is the never-ending, Neil said never-ending journey, that's a film.
That's never-ending story.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I wanted to say never-ending journey, but it made me think. So it is the never-ending journey of you then on your mental fitness, knowing now that, once you've moved one elephant out of the way, remembering the pink elephants are our mental illnesses, and you might deal with one now, you can, right, you know what, I've tamed you. You're out the way now. I've dealt with you. I've accepted you. I've understood you. I've reset you. I've conditioned you. And now I've been able to move you out of the way. And then you're like, this is great. And you carry on. And then before you know it, another fucking pink elephant pops out from behind somewhere. But now you know the tools and the strategies that you need to use on the elephant so that you feel stronger than your mind. But now it won't feel as intense. It won't take as long. And it'll become a natural daily, weekly, monthly process of having control of your moods and emotions that you do feel stronger than your mind.
And it's absolutely doable no matter where you're starting from, no matter how much work you've ever done. I think ultimately it's just, being willing.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to, like, I talked about this on the stage as well, I think, didn't I? I'm like, I was supposed to, but did it actually come out of me? I don't know. But the pity party, and we all need to have a pity party. And I had a pity party for about 2 decades. And the pity party is where you're saying things to yourself like, oh, it's not my fault I'm this way. I've been through a lot of traumas. I can't help this. It's not my fault I feel things so intensely. I've got BPD. I just can't help being this way. Or, yes, I could go and work on my mental health, but I can't because I've got too many traumas and I can't open that tin of worms. But they are just excuses. You are just trying to protect yourself and keep yourself safe. And you're always going to be in that moment until you decide this pity party is over. I don't want to just exist now. I want to start living. And to stop just existing and start living, it's about just taking the action and going, okay, I'm going to find, I call it, we're in the crazy corner. And it's finding those people who are just as batshit crazy as you, so that you're not doing this on your own, so that you're doing it with like-minded people. Like we have like weekly check-ins with people I support, and sometimes I'm sat and I'm genuinely listening, and I just think, look at us all. It's like the Churchill nodding dog in every car, back in like the 90s.
I feel like that most of the time, yeah.
Yeah, because when you're talking about things and feelings that not everybody is going to understand potentially, unless you have struggled with your mental health or your mental illnesses. But then to surround yourself with people who have been, they don't have to have been through the same as you, because you might have spilt the milk and I might have, had an accident on the side of the road or something. I might have fallen over, I might have tripped over a grid. But we could potentially have the exact same emotions from that. The reasoning might be 2 different reasons, but the emotions are still the same. And when you surround yourself with people who are understanding of feeling that emotion in an intense way or whatever way, doesn't matter the why or what for, it's just about the fact you're all ready to get that help and support to say, do you know what, this might not be easy, this might be taking me a while. And I think it's so empowering. Like I run a workshop that you can access on my website, and it's got a proper catchy title, Stronger Than Your Mind, the workshop. And you can access
We'll
it
pop it in the description below. We'll pop it in the description.
Yeah.
So you'll know what it is when you do it.
The beginner's stage, like that is, if you're like, do you know what, I'm a bit scared, not sure how this is going to be, and it's like, go and dip your toe in a little bit, go and dip your toe in. And the people who do that will say how empowering it is, even though they'll say, oh my gosh, I'm starting to forgive myself for how I've been feeling, I'm starting to accept how I was feeling, which is now making me feel like I'm able to start going forward and taking action. Hence why it's kind of the beginners dip your toe in, foundational steps that you'd need to do before you actually start fully working on your mental fitness. Because I completely get it can be scary, because I think that's what does kind of make a difference here is I'm doing it with you. I'm still batshit crazy. I'm still always going to have BPD, and I just call it I'm functioning with BPD. I still have to work daily. Like I said, I had to be pushed onto that stage. It was still a lot of thinking, wow, this is intense. Like, what the hell am I doing? And that's why I kind of practice what I preach. And I'm saying, look, this is how I feel. And people who follow me on Instagram and see my stories, if I'm doing like networking things I hadn't done before or whatever, I've been on my stories this time last June, or in about a week's time. And it was the Atomicon event, and I'd never been that far from home, and this is that and the other. And I was literally going on my stories, showing me, crying my eyes out.
Did I see you at the Atomicon? Because I was there last year as well.
And loads of people have said that to me, because I literally spent the majority of it outside, down the side of the building, crying my eyes out. So nobody was like, are you sure you were there? I was like, I was outside crying. But I remember being in the hotel room and showing and, sharing that with people who follow me on my Instagram stories and Facebook, and being like, what do you do? I've been in hotel rooms before, but I'm usually the mom. I've usually got the kids. Like it took me an hour to sit down in the hotel room. I had no kid to order about. I had no kids' bags to be unpacking. I was just so lost and didn't know what to do and how to deal with it. And it felt so intense and there were so many emotions. But me sharing that and not acting like, oh yeah, I'm mentally fit now. Yeah, I've got this. I'm fucking grand. I know what I'm doing. No, I'm honest with you so that you can start being honest with yourself. So I will show me like screaming the place down.
I'm starting to remember seeing you there because all of Danny's peeps were all there, weren't we? And we took a photograph.
Oh yeah,
standing next to me, and I was nabbing all the sweets.
Yeah, I can see
the
the
pictures.
I think Danny and someone else, Sam Squires. I think Danny and Sam Squires were like lying down, weren't they? And then there was a few of us around. Yeah, so I think I'd just seen you for that bit. And then, it was called the Sage, wasn't it? And it's like a building. And lots of people were coming outside and, puffing away on whatever it is people smoke these days. Or these little machines everyone has. But I kind of went further up and down the side of the building, turned my back as well to everybody and was just crying on my Instagram stories. Saying to them,
you should have found me. You could have come with me and we could have drank some pineapple beer. I drank pineapple beer by the river in the sunshine. It was brilliant.
It was sunny as well. It was really nice weather, wasn't it, as well?
Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Oh my goodness, what a journey. And that's one of the biggest reasons that I say that you're one of the bravest people that I know. Because for you, something like going into a hotel room and being there on your own, for you, the way that you felt and the way that it triggered you and the way that it made you feel was so intense. Getting yourself back from that and still going through it and coming out the other side is the thing that's brave. It's not the situation itself, because I put myself in that same situation. To me, it was like nothing. There's nothing brave in doing something really easy. Bravery and having the courage to actually go and do things that you find hard are the things that are going to grow you emotionally, mentally, and even physically. That is the thing that leaders are made out of. That is the thing that allows you to set an example, create a new safe space for somebody else, which is effectively what you're doing. One of the things that I was going to touch on it later, but we'll talk about it now. One of the things that you do is you do help people go through this journey of creating their version of mental fitness, something that they can take through their lives and build upon. And you do that through your academy. So if anybody wants to work with you, wants to find out more about you, we'll put the description and the link in the description below, and they can find out about Stronger Than Your Mind Academy. Tell us a little bit more about it. How does that look, and how would it play out, and what kind of things are people getting from the academy?
Yeah, so where you said like the tips and I explained my 5-stage framework, so that basically lives within the Stronger Than Your Mind Academy, and it's a mixture of self-study and group support. There is the option there is the option to add on one-to-one support, as well as if you're needing that accountability, if you're needing someone to say, do you know what, I'll sign up and I'll get, a bit like we sign up to the gym, then we never fucking go do it. So if you're needing that accountability, there is the option to add that on, and you can have a call with me once a week and I'll be like, what have you done? Why are you not doing it? Let's get it done. So you can add accountability.
And somebody to have a cry with as well.
Yes, because I do say I sing like a basic fly like a butterfly, but my butterflies will always say, one of them who I share like the testimonial thing from will say that I know innately when's the right time that you do need that, me to sting a bit like a bee and to not let you to bullshit yourself. But then I also know when to hold space and when to just allow, like I have a whole blog on not Big Girls Don't Cry, that was the Fergie song. Oh yeah, I think I named it after the Fergie song because I wrote it not long after that. But I had to train and teach myself how to cry. So sometimes even in accountability sessions or one-to-one sessions, I'm helping people to cry. But so it's basically the 5 steps. Sorry, I'm showing my bubble. I have to mess with things. I didn't have my balls because they were too noisy, but then I'm showing that I'm like playing with
Go
my
on then. Go on. Have a little bit of a stretch first.
I know, yeah, I was doing it under the screen, but as I'd moved my hand, I'm like, oh, show me secrets. So the academy is, like I was saying, it's the crazy corner. It's that safe space where we go through, or you go through on your own. You can log into the website and access all the materials. So we start with accepting your mind, understanding your mind, resetting your mind, blah, 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 all that 5-stage framework. And I deliver it via me speaking to you, and then workbooks that you crack on and get done with. And then we have the group support. So there's always a different post within the Facebook group every single day, be it an accountability post, be it where you're going to say, right, what 3 things are you going to do to help with your mental fitness this week? And funnily enough, most of them all say, I'm going to attend the weekly check-in. So that is where...
It's an easy win, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to let them keep getting away with that. I might say, no, you're not allowed to say that anymore. But
just increase it to 4.
No, yeah. So where I was mentioning the why not as well, we also have a weekly thread where I say, right, what can you use the why not method on this week? I'll also, like, once a month say, what are you doing differently now that you didn't do before you started in this academy? So you can realize, actually, I've learned that and I can do that now. So how can I actually action that into my day-to-day life? So and the weekly check-ins, they're just amazing. I love for the weekly check-ins because I do it
to be a fly on the wall, eh?
Oh, yes. Sometimes we have guest experts come in, so then I will record like the fact we've got the guest expert in. So we've got lots of different guest experts as well within the academy for all sorts of different things. So we've recently had Amy Bates in there talking about body confidence. We've had Ali Knight in there who's doing about, listening to your intuition and things like that.
I bloody love that woman. Me and her are going to open a retreat one day.
Oh,
you come in.
Yeah, I'm there. So I when there's a guest expert, I'll record the sessions that we can watch it later on. And then I have to remind myself, because then we end up having a bit of a chat at the end. And I'm like, oh shit, we're still recording. Let me stop, because the check-ins are so unique. So I don't like the thought of, when you see it on the TV and it's like a group for whatever reason, and they usually start in like a church hall or something, and they're all sat around a circle, and it's, I am Nicola and I'm batshit crazy. And I'm like, fuck off, can't deal with that. So you can either use numbers. Some people just want to use numbers 1 to 10. 1 being it's the worst day of your life, or for me 10 would be I'm walking down the aisle and I'm going to marry Peter, Andre and Dave, who is actually my partner. So that's my 10 day. So you'd use 1 to 10 to say where you're at. I do not allow 5s. You can't be a 5. That's a get out. You're either above or below 5.
I like that.
I find it can be, numbers are great because it can be hard to express or to find the words. But I also use my favorite thing ever, which is the shit scale.
Tell me about the shit scale. I want to know. I'm going to use this.
It's basically, so if I said, right, we're at the minute we do it on a Monday evening, it changes depending on everyone's availability. So at the minute it's running Mondays, it might change in the future. But I might, for example, check in. I'll be like, oh, Michelle, I'm having a diarrhea day. And immediately you're like, oh, I'll let you go to the loo. And it's like, no, the shit's hit the fan. Like, everything's just coming out of me today. I'm crying, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm hungry. I just don't know where I'm at. It's a fucking diarrhea day. And it just helps to, sometimes when we're trying to check in and look at our emotions, it's hard to be connected to them. But if we just add in that little bit of separation and just detach ourselves a smidgen, it allows us then and gives us that, okay, I can talk about it a bit easier. Okay, if I'm using the numbers or the poo scale, I can talk about it a bit easier and not feel like I'm trying to find these words to describe something I don't necessarily understand right now. And like I was saying before, you then kind of see the rest of the group nodding along because just to respect us all, I have everybody on mute. Yeah, because I think it's so hard when you're trying to check in. It can be hard. You can feel daunting. So last thing you need is, Sandra in the background moving a cup, and now her screen's full screen and not the other person. And you're like, who's actually talking? So we're all usually on mute while people are checking in, and I just act as like the chairperson, introducing us all, and then I, be the lady going, right, Michelle, do you want to do your check-in now, and things like that. And you'll just see everyone nodding along in total understanding, in total empathy. And we laugh, we cry, all sorts comes out of my bloody gob. Like we learn things, we learn Cheshire and Cheshire. We have trolls. We have butterflies from all over the world as well. So sometimes we just have a bit of a laugh. Like one of my butterflies is from America, and sometimes we can be checking in, whinging about something very British, like the weather, or something like, and then the American butterfly will be like, what you all on about? And we'll be like, oh, okay, this is this. Do you guys not have that? And you just build such strong friendships that all my current butterflies say, yes, they love the academy. Yes, they love going through the program and learning the stages and learning their tools and strategies, but they also love having that safe, supportive, like-minded community. We have a WhatsApp chat as well. So it's like there's places, there's somewhere every day you can be going and getting support or checking in or doing something, as well as then having access to all the materials. But I always say, do not join thinking, oh, thank fuck, Nick's batshit crazy. She's figured out all the answers and she's going to give them to me and it's going to be fucking simple and I can jog on with life. And it's like, no. I have not got the quick fix answer because it doesn't exist. I haven't got any answers for you. But what I do have is the questions that you need to ask yourself to find those answers. Because even if, for example, if you said to me now, Michelle, oh, Nick, I've got borderline personality disorder too, so tell me how to do it. And it'd be like, no, you might both have the exact same mental illness and you might both experience the same emotions, but how you want to deal with it or need to deal with it is going to be very different. It's not a one size fits all when it comes to mental illness and being mentally fit. So it's about going through the process to find what questions you need to ask yourself to get those answers. And then it's the community aspect of having support when you're getting those answers and you're navigating life, you're navigating the boundaries you're now setting yourself. So often the check-ins are about, okay, I've realised this is a boundary I need to put into place with myself. But when I'm trying to put it into action, this keeps happening. And then we can all, like, it's not just me being like, this is what we could do. Everyone kind of goes, oh, I experienced that and this happened, or I tried it a bit this way and then that happened. And everyone's giving their own lived experiences of what it's like trying to establish those boundaries.
And you get a much better, much more rounded picture. I mean, when you're in there, it takes you on this journey in a place that's safe, in a place that's free from judgment, in a place where you're going to be able to see lots of different perspectives, in a place that will allow you to regulate. I think that's a big thing as well. It's being able to go from a place where you're feeling very intense emotion. It's probably something that you understand really well, is coming from a place that's really intense emotion and allowing yourself the ability or different ways of regulating yourself. So you come back to calm again, so you can approach things in a slightly different way and actually have that surround of people supporting you and surrounding you and bringing their things to the table as well.
It makes a difference, especially if you're not surrounded by people who they might say they accept you've got a mental illness and they might want to understand you with the best of their current abilities, but they just don't get it. So then when you're trying to explain, well, I feel like this and it's making me react like this, and other people are like, oh, why are you doing that? Can you not just, put your chin up and crack on with things? But then to check in and be around other people who go, oh, I completely get it. Even that just allows you to regulate and go, oh, it's okay then. I'm not batshit crazy. And you're like, well, you are, but we all are, and that's okay.
It's okay.
You're suddenly now normal in such a, what other people might class as not normal. So it helps you to have that space to go, actually, it isn't just me, and it is okay to be feeling this way. And it doesn't mean I have to stop just existing. I can start living again, knowing that I've got this space, I've got this safety net to be around like-minded, non-judgmental, supportive people. Because I think sometimes we can want, like, I was trained as a counsellor. I was trained to listen. I remember seeing that was a part of our course way back when, that, we're gonna teach you how to listen. I'm like, well, what do I do? Just show you my ears? Like, what the fuck's all that about? I was like, really?
That's what you do. That's what you do in the kids' classes. Is like,
I know, I say it to my kids, turn your ears, turn your volume down, like when they're being loud. But so I've been there where I've trained how to listen. I've been trained how to empathize and all the rest of it. But actually, you cannot teach that stuff I'm not saying counselors who haven't been through it are shit. I'm not. But it's just a different added element when you're among people who are like, oh no, I completely get that. I completely understand. And there's just no judgments because we know when emotions can be intense, we're all going to act completely different from the Britney Spears moment of shaving her head to my moment of, locking myself in my room and eating God knows what and doing whatever else. So it's like we're all going to act differently, but I wouldn't look at Britney Spears and think, you shaved your fucking head. You had such lovely hair. Why would you do that? Instead, it's just, oh wow, things must have felt that intense that it's like that moment. And I think it's those little things that become the big things. It's having that corner that's just for you, especially when we're in business as well. And so many of us, set up a business as a way to distract themselves from the pink elephants. And they then will say, oh, my business is really helping with my mental illness. And it's like, is it? Or is it helping you to ignore the pink elephant that's in the room? And actually, the reason you're spending so much time working on your business, because if you stop, you then just sat looking at that pink elephant on your own and you don't know what to do with it.
Pure and utter avoidance. But that is a whole nother topic. We might have to jump on again and do another one. Maybe we could do a live one. We've got some live ones. Let's do a live one. That'll be so cool. All about avoidance is one of my pet subjects. I absolutely love it. Right, okay. So everything that you've detailed, if anybody's interested in finding out more, if it sounds like I like the fact that you classify it as a corner, crazy corner. I love that because it's like out of the way and it's like feels a little bit safe. You've got that kind of support around the back of you and things like that. I absolutely love it. If that appeals to you, whoever's watching this, if that appeals to you, if you think you could really do with somebody like Nicola in your corner and her butterflies, supporting you in your journey to become mentally fit, whether you have diagnosed mental illnesses or not, whether you've had some sort of trauma that's been following you around in your life or not, but you actually think that this could be a really good place for you to explore that and get better from it and help yourself and have other people support you, then all the links will be down below. Literally it's just a click and get in Nicola's inbox. Now I've got one last question for you before you dash off. Okay, this is the killer question, this one. All right. If you could teleport to anywhere in the world, where would you go and why?
Oh, where would I go and why? Oh, I think it's going to be such a cliche answer, but I would go to Florida with the kids, and I would do that because I've always kind of thought that had been me feeling complete. Like I've always put Florida off thinking, well, I'm too busy. I'm building my empire. No, I'm changing my answer. Scrap it. Rewind. I would teleport to whoever the king or queen is, giving me my MBE for my services to mental health.
So it's teleporting into the future.
Yeah, so I'd teleport into what I do want it to be. What's it called? Not Charles. I want Charles to not, just step down. William.
Let's not get into that.
William. I want it to be Prince William. I mean, I'd love it to be like Harry, but he's never going to be king, is he? Bless him. But I think he should be. I'm Team Harry. But realistically, I want it to be King William. So I know he's not the king yet, so I've got to wait a little bit. But yeah,
so King William giving you your MBE for services to mental wellness and creating awareness around mental fitness and destigmatizing it. That would be. Also, what we'll do is you can get this little video. You get the video when it comes out. Get the video, pop it on your vision board, and then that'll be there ready for when you get your MBA, and you can say, "I had this conversation." I
do have it. I'll pull it off. I literally have an MBE printed out.
I love it.
It's in front of me at all times. It's like centre in my vision board. And some people are like, what's that? Who do you think you are? What's that medal for? I'm like, no. Because for me as well, it's not actually happened yet. But the plan is I'm a big believer in healed people heal people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always, I want it to be a natural process. Like if someone's gone through the academy and they're now what I call a forever butterfly, which means you're stronger than your mind and you're just now reinforces and redoing everything you're doing. And so many people then be like, they are then the best people to go and help other people.
Yeah.
So that the ultimate plan is to then franchise the Stronger Than Your Mind Academy, so that people who have been through it then go away and get training in, be it a coach, be it a counsellor, be it NLP, some sort of training so that they can take care of themselves listening to someone. And that they know how to effectively support someone. And then they do what I'm doing. They use their qualifications to offer one-to-ones, and they also bring people into the academy, but from their perspective, because they'll have, everyone, there's no new ways of doing things. Sometimes it's just someone who will be attracted to me because of my luscious brown hair. No, someone will be attracted
your
to
batshit craziness.
Exactly. They'll be like, oh my gosh, isn't she so northern? Isn't she so this or whatever? Whereas someone else, I'll be like, that's not for me. I can't understand her accent. I can't keep up with her. But the academy would still probably be perfect for them.
Yeah.
So it's having people say, I've been through this. From my point of view, this is how I am with it. And so that is, to me, how the MBE will come about, is because the academy will have that many people talking about it and bringing people into it, that everyone will be saying, well, yeah, if you want to feel mentally fit, you go through the 5-stage framework in the Stronger Than Your Mind Academy. And it'll be just the same as people saying, there's loads of gyms everywhere, isn't there? There was no short supply of gym, but we'll all choose a gym for a different reason. And that's one of my goals, is the MBE, because it's just everywhere.
See it just there. It's
all my Pisces, can't you? And I like dreaming. I'm not very woo-woo and I don't really understand the star sign stuff, but someone recently just met me and after 5 minutes she went, are you a Pisces? I was like, how did you know that? She went, because you're a dreamer. I was like, oh, someone's wrote a song about that, I think.
But the thing is, if you don't dream, then you can't bring it into existence. Exactly. And this is the thing, you believe it enough, it gives you the power to actually move forward towards whatever it is you're doing. And everybody that's ever hit a goal has hit it because they've just kept on going and kept on going and kept on going and built that resilience, built that mental fitness, kept on going, had the support, made things bigger, dreamed even bigger, and eventually they've got there. And we see it all, me and you, we're moving those circles. We see it all the time. People have big dreams and they move towards those dreams and they hit those dreams and they move towards another dream. The fact of the matter is, you're on a mission to change the world. You're on the mission to shift something in the planet. And for me, people like you are like so important. And I'm so pleased that you've come on today and you've honored me with your batshit crazy presence. And we've had a right good old chat, and you have been able to put yourself out into the world, because every single step that you take from here on in is going to get you that little bit closer to making those changes and making an impact and a difference in people's lives. And I freaking love you.
Oh, I love you.
That's it. That's it. I'm going to give you a big kiss. And I will see you for cake another time.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming. I'll see you later.
See you later. Bye. Bye.
That was the amazing Nicola Parker. Oh, she can come on again. We can talk for England, we can. She is a world changer. She is a world changer. She is a self-professed world changer. She's going to be getting that MBE at some point in the somewhat distant future. We don't know when there's going to be a King William. But world changers are the people that I love the most, and dream builders are the people that I love the most. So much so that I've got so many friends now who are dream builders and world changers. I've decided to hold an event. It's coming on the 1st of November 2024. It's going to be in Preston in the most magnificent venue. There are only 100 tickets. I don't even know how many there are left at the moment, but there are only 100 tickets, and it's specifically for dream builders and world changers. So if that sounds like you and you want to come and party with me, you want to meet more people who are dream builders and world changers, you want to learn how to build that kind of resilience and get to understand the kind of things that we actually need to overcome and find out ways to overcome it so that you can move towards your dream, then you need to be at my event. My event is on the 1st of November. Get your tickets. There's a link in the description below. You can get your tickets and I will see you there. Mwah!